right, welcome in, welcome in. So today we are going to be playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and today is also a bit of an experiment. It's my first attempt to try and live stream to both Twitch and YouTube, so we'll see if that works, how that goes, but it seems to be working okay right now, so we will just see. I'm excited, and I think everything looks good. Let's go ahead and get our intro going, and then we'll just hop right on in. So here we go. Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and in today's episode, we need to confront Gossip with his lies. He's been spouting some big ones, and he's been caught in a lie. So, what's this cross-examination going to reveal? Well, without further ado, let's hop into the game. Alright, so we gotta see what Gossip has to say. Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. All right. The inspector and the identification revisited. And this time only the truth, please, sir. The man who claimed to be an Inspector Zade was definitely not this man. Is right, see? You think we would forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright. I've no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? I mean, I don't know, my guy. It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony. Ugh. That's right, I'm just a simpler peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, you work on the street, maybe you're also a pickpocket. Just saying. Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Ugh. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruto. And Kazuma's just like, we'll just see how this goes. Oh, man. Although... I don't know. I feel like there's definitely some lies going on. The man who claimed to be an Inspector Zate was definitely not this man. Hold it! How do you know? So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Is it because he doesn't have red hair? Because I've never before seen lips like this. No, it's his lips. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prize caller. Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you are trying to wring my neck. It does look very much like my neck, though, eh? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they broke the mold when they made me. Unless he got punched and that's why his lips are big. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oh oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? Is right, see? You think we would forget these grand lips, huh? Hold it! Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I'm saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? And Claire? You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it's a national trait, eh? And maybe all the people from this immense country have these grand lips. No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left. Oh, for that is the problem, see? So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip? And now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league.
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going on off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town, sir. Not likely. Okay, we seem to have a discrepancy here. Oh boy. Mr. DeRousseau? Oui. Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something. To be the headquarters of your red-headed league, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip with a housing agent? Oh, it had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else, someone with the same face. No, the capo is right. I remember it too. It was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes. Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. What name was written? Mr. Gossip? No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? Is better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? No. I think we've just blown the case wide open. I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Isn't that who the room was rented to? Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Ashogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never! In what capacity? Hugh Boone. The name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put it very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. Look how awful he looks now. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, Oh, man. What are we going to discover here? So your real name is Hugh Boone. Just say yes. Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. Aye, if either of us is a vulgar, is not to me. Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must. So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. Indeed he has. Oh boy, oh boy. I rent the room where that fellow was found, it's true, for what difference it makes. Hold it! I mean, it makes a difference. So, you live in that room presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk? Then why would you want to rent it? That's what I'm wondering. What is the purpose? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. I think you should have to say. Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to. Is this how you're such a big gossip? You sell secrets that the police only have access to? No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. Yeah, he just carried it under his overcoat, did he? It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. Yeah, I mean, the real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there? In your room. I'm wondering if Gregson was investigating a leak at Scotland Yard. Like maybe they were trying to figure out how information was getting out on cases. Because if Mr. Boone here had all of this information from the police and he was selling it to the highest bidder, that would be a problem. No response there? Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems that Mr. Mr. Boone would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? You mean you have no family? No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passerbys. Hoping, just between us that is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so. You may be right. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip. Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could, say, with a mustache or beard to cover up that lip. That's true. Aye, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I? The judge is like, don't bring me into this. Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, counsel. Sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me there. Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course. You're right, he did. So, perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb in a mustache of that size. And anyway, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all. See, the capo is alright, he was a clean shaven. It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Aye, it does, it is. We gotta look in the court record, I think. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, what Mr. Boone says is undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise. Perhaps, yes, but nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable. And it's identical to the one that Mr. DeRossi suffered. Yes, that's true. But why does this whole disguise idea just keep playing on my mind? Okay, so let's look through the court record and see what we have that he could have disguised himself with. I mean, we've got the wig, obviously. What else could he have disguised himself with? Inspector's identification. Can we look at this? Is there... can we open it? I just want to look inside. It doesn't have a picture, right? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. I think it was just words, right? It doesn't say... There's nothing here that would help us. What else could we do? Anything in the picture that helps us? What about this? Nothing here. I'm not seeing anything right off the bat that could help us. Let's keep looking. What about... What about wax? What if he made himself a new face with wax? Maybe? I don't know. We still have all of this stuff that we haven't figured anything out with Mr. Vigil. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to figure this out, I think. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, so he could have worn something to disguise his lips, but what? Wax. So that's the only thing that comes to mind, but how do we present that exactly? And it was on like the new statement that he added, right? That was related to it. Why would I be involved in something like that? Yeah, it's not that. Just look at me. Does it look like I could carry off a disguise? I mean, Yes, the disguise is what keeps playing at my mind, right? So what would it be then? It's true. Well. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Something he said. Okay. So something he said is really suspicious. Okay. Let's get back to that statement. He said everything in there belonged to him, right? So let's get back to that. It's not y'all's statements. I writ the room with where that fellow is found for what difference it makes. Oh, okay. I'm all alone in the world. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Okay, so if everything in the room was yours and you've no kinfolk, why do you have this photograph
Objection.
on the desk in there? If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room. I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well, Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. Are you the missing Mr. Vigil? You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. I don't think so. I think not only does it have a bearing on this case, it has a bearing on Sholmes' kidnapping case and on the professor case. Because it is simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection.
Unless the way he looks now is the disguise. That's how he could do it. How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. I think what he has now is the disguise. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection.
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? You got it too, Ryunosuke, don't you? You see it too. What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Exactly. He knows we figured it out. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Oh, man. Good witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? He's getting annoyed. Time to fess up.
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be.
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no.
Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street? Alright, so where is it? We gotta find it. It's you. Daily Vigil. Alright.
Take that!
Right? Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just you hold on a minute. What are you talking? What I'm talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a washbowl at once. Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain the witness. Oh, oui, my lord. See, my lord. No, stop. Get off, please. Don't. Oh, man. His entire life is a lie now. Uh-huh. Yep. I knew it. I knew it. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. Oh, man. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. Of course it was. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary! Oh, man. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi in the park, was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Yeah, he can't even defend himself. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. Oh boy. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. Oh man. The truth is finally revealed. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? Why all the secrets? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. Oh, whoops. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort, despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. Oh boy. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? Was it to investigate the red-headed, league? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? I don't know about that. That's mighty convenient. We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orxie's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. I mean, that does explain the money. A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. I don't think you're going to have very much luck prosecuting him, though, my guy. He's dead. I know it's a new shock. It's a shock, but Inspector Gregson is, in fact, deceased, so I don't think you can prosecute him. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Even if, well, if I end up a croaker. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. I mean, that does explain the board. It became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It's never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Oh, man. I don't even know how to take that news. Like, is it the truth or a very conveniently fabricated lie? I don't know. If he didn't kill the inspector, who did? This is definitely not... What? Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on? I mean... Explain yourself, Prosecutor Ashogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered at the hands of these two red-headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. Ugh. What do we do now, man? Order, order, order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim, as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. Ugh. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination. Oh boy.
Hold it!
Wait, what? Who is it? Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at the very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. Ah, the professor case, the execution at the professor. Genshin Ashogi, that's Kazuma's father. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? I think they're all connected. Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. I mean, I don't disagree. Does the defense concur, counsel? Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual.
Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Ashoki's last moment, his own father.
I know. I do understand that. But even so... Because Prosecutor Ashogi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me, please. I mean, I already thought they were connected, so I'm on board. Very well, then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten.
I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy.
He's not happy with that answer.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo?
It does. Sorry?
Well, 10 years ago is a long time. But to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
Yes, you're right. Was he drugged? And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection.
Sorry, the human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, the fragile spirit may finally be crushed.
But I really don't. Kazuma-sama.
But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Oh boy. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? I mean, I don't know what it is, but we should do it. I have no idea how this is going to go. But this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. What? Okay, so we actually, I think, need to read up what he said. Because I don't remember what he said. Let's see. Let's see. His claim contradicts. For some reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment are extremely hazy. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. So what do we have that contradicts that? Let's see. Nothing here. What do we have here? A note of introduction, dismissal notice, all rights to redundancy pay and other oh, because he knows that he didn't have his money, right? Right? Is that true? Maybe that is the piece of evidence, because it's the only thing I think that's relative to back then, right? I think it has to be. Let's give it a try, because he remembered not having his money, right? Let's try this.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice. And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil.
Well, what? It's mine?
So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay.
No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it?
If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. Oh boy. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. He helped him escape.
The 17th of June.
Was that the professor's execution?
Professor.
As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings.
It does sound familiar.
And yet, that execution never took place. That's right. This is the, it all goes back to this, doesn't it? The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave.
The convict came back to life.
In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments.
Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Alright, come on, you can remember. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th of June, 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Was he like hypnotized or something? What's going on here?
Yes, the whole prison. It was in complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news rippled through Barclay like a hurricane.
What? 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 Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness.
The papers. There were reports, articles, about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Newgate Cemetery at plot number 139. Blood, lots of blood.
That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? I'm getting so involved in the story, I'm forgetting the voices. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Oh boy. I'm sorry, Daly. This is serious business, but I cannot help you know. As Chief Warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of Foray. Well, it seems the fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. Oh boy. You better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Is he about to pass out? The professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. What is with that clock? And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. And he just has a complete mental break now. Oh man. Oh man. Oh wow. Well, about that. Order, order! Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once! Man, what even is going on? This is crazy. Court is adjourned for the day with immediate effect. Oh man.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
I'll say.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
Oh man.
Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Cosima, and Gregson.
They're all
All of
connected.
them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the
Exactly.
miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Maybe we'll finally get the truth. Oh man. To be continued, guys. That was pretty epic. So, yeah, I'd say Gossip had just a few secrets. Just a couple of secrets. Alright, we're gonna save that. That was crazy, man. So where even do we go now? So if it wasn't him, who killed Gregson? Did the professor actually escape? Is he at large? Did he never die? I don't know. Is that what's going on? I'm so curious. Like, I just don't know. All right, we're going to exit out of here. Let's get back to the title screen. That's just crazy. All right. Back to the title. Don't save. We already saved. All right. Man. Oh man, my thoughts are reeling after that case. Like, it's not even over. It's just in recess. But what even did we make of everything that we learned there? Obviously, Gossip had some secrets there, and man, were they a doozy. Where is this gonna go from here? The professor is connected. In every case we do, he keeps popping back up, and I'm so curious. What is the story? What is the connection? When is it going to end? I don't know. We will find out more in the next episode. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/LeR27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description. And if you want to see which games we're playing each day, I post them on x.com/LeR27. And I hope you join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye. All right. Well, that was fun. I'm just like kind of, I'm stunned. I don't even know what to make of that one, guys. It blows my mind. All right, so we will be back here tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time. We are going to be playing some TCG Card Shop Simulator and Miss 3. So there you go. TCG Card Shop, what are we trying to do? I think we're trying to expand the trying to make sure that the amount of items we have is expanded. We just got our second employee, so now it's time to expand once again. And then in Miss 3, I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember where we were at. I know we had discovered like all the different tusks, but not what we needed to do with them, right? Like there was all of these different things that we can do, but we haven't quite found the exact place where we need to progress in the story. So we just got to get back there and explore some more, I think. So I hope that everything went well. This was my first multi-stream live stream, so hopefully it all went well and YouTube got it as well, but we'll see. I don't know how exactly this will work, but we're just gonna roll with it, guys. Right now we are going to go raid Punch Muffin. She's playing some Lethal Company, and then I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh wait, no, we won't raid her. She's not accepting raids. That's fine. But let's see. We will see you guys tomorrow. Let's see if we can raid. Let's see. We'll raid Chloe's Wash instead. She's playing It Takes Two. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I appreciate you, and hope that I will see you guys tomorrow. So until then, guys, bye.